tomb of Wenneman, envoy to the Pharaoh Herbo in the 21st dynasty. Sure we haven't been followed, Seth? Quite sure, Sir Basil. There's a heavy penalty for tomb desecration. You're getting a guilty conscience, Seth? If I did, you wouldn't be here. You know, it's rather amusing. You not only look like me, but you think like me. It would almost pass for you in London if I wore your clothes. No, I doubt it. It's breeding that counts, not clothes. Go on, throw a light on these inscriptions here.
Have you gone mad? Seth! No! 12 years since you were in England. No friends, no relations. I think like you, I look like you, and now I am you. Sir Basil, you'll never get away with this. You'll never get away with it. One thing that will hang you is my wife. Seth! My wife will hang you. My wife.
Yes, Sir Basil. Of course, Sir Basil. Thank you. Mr. Chan, will you please accept our apologies, but Sir Basil has been held up. I wonder if you'd mind waiting for a few moments.
Oh, no. Unexpected delay most welcome in treasure house of ancient eras. With kind permission, would take opportunity to inspect same.
I didn't realize that you were an Egyptologist, Mr. Chan.
Compliment most flattering but incorrect. Am merely unworthy student.
Well, then I think this will interest you. Now, here is a complete and intact sarcophagus, part of the Basil Dawson collection.
Sir, is there actually a body inside?
The mummy in this sarcophagus dates back from 1230 BC.
And it's still intact?
As you can see from the wrappings, this subject is in a remarkable state of preservation.
Exceedingly well preserved.
Ah, Mr. Chan, may I drag you back from the past? I'm Basil Dawson.
How do you do?
Thank you for waiting. Tell me, did Inspector Duff give you details of my problem?
Only that you were searching for someone.
Yes. The most important person in my life, Mr. Chan. My wife. It was 12 years ago when she walked out to me for another man. I want you to find her.
Desire to locate missing wife, most understandable, but not delay in doing so.
Here's the letter she wrote me when she left. Hardly conducive of a reconciliation.
And now?
I'm getting married again. If Monica's dead, I want proof. If she's not dead, I want a divorce.
Has there been any previous endeavor to locate Lady Dawson?
Oh, naturally, I informed Scotland Yard when she disappeared. But when I got that letter, the case was closed.
I would suggest that this is a case for ordinary divorce detective.
Name your fee, Mr. Chan.
Stimulation of brain by intriguing problem is much more interesting than banker's draft.
Inspector Duff tells me that you're looking for a specimen for the Hunter University Museum.
That's quite correct.
The original papyrus of Amun-Ra's Book of the Dead would be an interesting addition, don't you think? This is my personal property. Would you care to examine it, Mr. Chan? A little more stimulating than a banker's draft.
This file from our Missing Persons Bureau is a little dusty, but it'll give you a starting point.
Tell me, Inspector, has the vanished Lady Dawson any close relatives?
Just her mother, Mrs. Shaw. She lives in an old ladies' home in Richmond. The address is in the file.
What do you know about Sir Basil?
Oh, the usual stuff you read in Burke's Peerage. Educated at Eton, Oxford, etc. Plus the fact that he came into more than $1 million a few years ago. Why?
Background, most valuable.
It's Lady Dawson you want. We know where Sir Basil is. It's quite simple enough.
Simplicity is most puzzling in view of generous fee of valuable papyrus.
Take the smooth with the rough, Charlie.
What are grounds for divorce in English courts?
Same as in yours, I guess. Infidelity, cruelty, and desertion. So long, Charlie. Oh, Charlie.
Yes, Inspector.
Why are you so interested in our divorce laws?
I'm just curious to know why client with grounds for divorce on desertion insists on costly investigation for unwanted wife.
Maybe she's not unwanted.
Exactly, Pop. Probably he's still carrying a torch for her. Why don't you let me locate her?
Oh, on what system?
Oh, you can laugh, but I'll bet you a quarter I'll find Lady Dawson.
Enthusiasm of youth always gratifying.
Evening news? Give me the classified advertisement section, please. I would like to place an ad in the early editions as follows. Lady Monica Dawson, last heard of at Wanborough Manor, Hertfordshire. Please contact advertiser for news to her advantage. Please phone Mayfair 34632, extension 345. You got that? Yes. Place it in the unclaimed money column, please. Thank you.
My most humble apologies, Mrs. Shaw, but I am very anxious to locate your daughter, Monica.
Mr. Chen, I have no daughter.
But this humble, ill-informed investigator understood
That I was her mother? Yes, I had that illusion once. But then I'm a little old-fashioned, and in my days we remembered the commandment, honor thy father and mother, and rarely broke the commandment about infidelity.
When a parent's heart is stone, there must be some reasons.
Monica's husband was considerate and kind. She had everything, position, money, and a title. Yet she couldn't even do her duty as a wife.
Did she ever tell you why she left Sir Basil?
She never even told me she'd left him. Even that had to come from strangers.
Did she ever contact you?
Never.
Have you any letters from her?
I destroyed them.
Then you have no knowledge of her present whereabouts.
No.
I see. You have just mentioned 2 commandments. May I humbly refer you to the 11th one?
The 11th commandment?
Found in St. John's, 1334. Good day, Mrs. Shaw.
Perhaps you will refresh an old woman's memory, Mr. Chan.
Gladly. And a new commandment shall I give unto you, that you shall love one another as I have loved you.
All right. I deserve that. Is there any way I can help you find my daughter, Mr. Chan?
A photograph would be of very great assistance. Well-worn photo shows daughter still in mother's heart. I have here a letter from your daughter to her husband. Can you tell me, please, is this her handwriting?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chan.
Something wrong?
I thought you knew. I've been blind for the past 12 years, ever since my daughter went away.
I'm afraid it's rather faded, Mr. Chan, but it's the only photograph of young Dawson we have.
Well, thank you. Shall guard same very carefully.
I remember young Dawson very well. An excellent scholar, keen on archaeology even then, always digging things up. Dug up our cellar looking for some Roman coins. Most inconvenient.
Did Sir Basil have any close friends at school?
No. He had a young cousin, though, Richard Dawson.
Were they very close?
Good heavens, no. Richard is a most peculiar person, filled with strange ideas.
Such as?
This is a very painful subject, Mr. Chan. Even the best families have their black sheep. Usually we are able to export them to distant pastures where they can do least harm. Unfortunately, in these days of a shrinking empire, that's not always possible.
It seems that this, Richard Dawson is a most interesting character.
He's a renegade, a purveyor of political nonsense and inflammatory speeches which he insists on expounding from a public forum.
What sort of political nonsense?
Abolition of his own class. He has the effrontery to suggest revoking all titles. The fellow ought to be locked up.
And where might I locate this iconoclastic young man?
Probably spouting nonsense at Hyde Park Corner.
I see. Who would inherit title after Sir Basil?
Why, Richard, of course. Good heavens! What an appalling thought, Mr. Chan.
My friends, why should we support a group of parasites whose only claim to privilege is an accident of birth? Should we squander our taxes on circuses of ermine and coronets? Should we support such anachronisms? My friends, I see the answer in your faces.
Is there anything of interest in the paper, Enid?
No, Mrs. Shaw. Nothing at all. Excuse me, I forgot. I have to make a telephone call.
Could you come up right away, Lady Dawson? Oh, well, no, it's too complicated to talk about it over the telephone. You will. Thank you. Give me Museum 25118. Thank you. Sir Basil Dawson, please.
Basil Dawson speaking. What? You found my wife? Oh, congratulations, Mr. Chan. No, that's all right. I'll be right over.
In here, Mr. Chan. Oh, just put it anywhere you like. Take a seat.
Thank you.
No frills about this place. You can't live like a sybarite and run a political party.
But any personal sacrifice for sake of one's belief is most worthy.
Hope you don't mind tea bags.
Oh, no. A cup of tea would be most welcome. However, was always under impression tea bags was act of American barbarism.
Nonsense. It's pure democracy. Well, what can I do for you?
I am endeavoring to locate Lady Monica Dawson and would appreciate assistance.
You've got a job on your hands. None of us have seen hair nor hide of Monica since you walked out on Basil. Well, not that I blame her.
Reasons, please?
Well, their marriage was a mutual swindle. Each one fooled the other one into believing that they had money.
I was under impression Sir Basil was extremely wealthy.
No, that came later. Inherited after Monica walked out on him.
So?
Oh, when they got married, it was like two people walking into an expensive restaurant without a penny. Both hoping the other one would pick up the check. It must have been quite a honeymoon.
Tell me, would you recognize Lady Monica's handwriting?
Yes, I believe so. She really gave him the works, didn't she? Excuse me. No, Mr. Chan, that's not Monica's handwriting. It's familiar, but it's not Monica's.
Have you seen Sir Basil recently?
Not since we left university. He's kept pretty much to himself since Monica walked out on him.
But you would still recognize him.
I grew up with him.
Tell me, has he changed much?
No, he hasn't changed much. But let me have a look at that note, will you? Basil wrote this, Mr. Chan. I know it sounds stupid, but there's something about the ears in this photograph that are different.
What do you mean?
Well, Basil had bat ears, the long lobe variety.
You are sure about earlobes?
Oh, positive. I used to kid him about them. This man's an imposter.
I fear the murder of real Sir Basil was most necessary for deception by imposter.
What would he do with the body?
Investigation of ancient Egyptian relics donated by Sir Basil might prove most interesting.
You mean he's pickled it in Sir Basil's Egyptian collection in Ramesses the Thingamy of the whatchamacallit dynasty?
You are most observant. Also, you have been very helpful. Now, may I use your telephone?
Oh, I'm afraid it's out of order. Temporary, of course.
Does not matter. You have been most kind, Sir Richard.
Mr. Dawson.
If present holder of title is imposter, then I fear you are Sir Richard.
Oh, then I'd refuse it.
Only kings can abdicate by choice. I am informed that hereditary titles can never be rejected. Thank you, And good day, Sir Richard.
Of course, you have proof of your identity, Lady Dawson.
Oh, yes. Here's a photograph taken for my passport a few years ago. And, of course, my birth certificate.
Excuse me. Well, they seem to be in order.
Thank you. I believe you mentioned in your advertisement something to my advantage.
Well, in this case, I'm merely an agent. My principal should be here pretty soon.
Oh, well, if your principal is as charming as his agent, I'm sure we'd have a very pleasant meeting. Chan, I really can't wait indefinitely.
Ah, Lady Dawson, I want you to meet your husband. Sir Basil, this is your wife.
Monica. Well, this is wonderful.
Wish I could say the same, but after 12 years' absence, you can hardly expect me to fall into your arms.
Oh, yes, Mr. Chan.
I understand. I'm sorry.
Inspector Duff, please. Oh, Inspector, have made most important discovery at British Museum.
Well, Mr. Chan, my wife and I have a lot to discuss, so we won't trespass on your hospitality any further.
Then everything is okay.
Thanks to you, yes.
Oh, well, there really was nothing to it.
Now, I'd like you to give this to your father as a token of my appreciation. It's the papyrus.
Oh, thank you. Will he be surprised? I told him I could handle the case.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Extension 345. Since final act of mysterious disappearance is about to be played, suggest you join me at once.
But the case is over, Pop. I found Lady Dawson.
What?
Yes, Lady Dawson answered my ad, and I brought them together. Boy, did they hit it off solid. I think they went on a second honeymoon. Pop, are you there?
Unfortunately, state of shock renders speech inadequate. I have great fear honeymoon will end in murder.
Just because we had a foolish quarrel when we were young, Monica, doesn't mean that we shouldn't behave like adults now.
I think you'll find me more than reasonable, Basil. I'm not psychic. Just what do you want?
Or couldn't we get together again? Maybe go somewhere. Try and forget the past.
Is this a proposal or a proposition?
After all, you are my wife.
Am I?
What do you mean?
Tell me, what did you do with Sir Basil Dawson? Or is that an indiscreet question?
Most indiscreet.
Well?
When did you suspect?
The moment you accepted me as your loving wife.
Oh? Why?
Because I'm not Monica Dawson either.
Who put you up to this? Chan?
No. I did it for the same reason that you became Sir Basil Dawson. Money.
Well, at least we're compatible. It's only in morals. Tell me, who are your associates?
Associates.
Someone must have given you the background of Monica Dawson.
I've been looking after Monica Dawson's mother for the past 10 years. She's old and very talkative.
Tell me, you told anybody else?
No, Basil. We're quite safe. I'm strictly on my own.
Good. Then to a happy honeymoon.
And an even happier settlement. Ah, wonderful place you've inherited here, Basil.
Isn't it?
Ah.
Oh, good evening, Sir Basil. Trust you had enjoyable reunion. Bear a chair for a lady. Perhaps she will need support.
What's the meaning of this intrusion?
Have spent most pleasant evening inspecting stimulating fee for services. However, I'm obliged to refuse to accept same.
Oh, well, if that's all you want, so far as I'm concerned, you've earned it. Or rather, your son has. Just take it and go.
Must place temptation behind me. Because accepting same would be most improper, as ancient treasure belongs to a state of late Sir Basil Dawson.
Late, Sir Basil? What do you mean?
Since you are an impostor, very easy to conclude Sir Basil is dead.
That's a very dangerous accusation to make, Mr. Chan.
Very simple to prove.
How?
With great difficulty, we obtained rare photograph of Basil Dawson as young boy.
What's this got to do with it?
Observe configuration of ears of young boy displayed in photograph.
Well?
Kindly compare ears in photograph with self. Connection very obvious.
Poppy's got a gun!
And an excellent lighter. There goes your proof, Mr. Chan.
You gonna let him get away with it?
Unfortunately, this gentleman is correct. To disprove identity is difficult, but to prove murder without a corpse, almost impossible. Good night, Sir Basil. I might suggest, Sir Basil, wholesale murder would be very unwise.
I'm not as simple as that, Mr. Chan. It's stalemate.
So it appears. Inspector Duff.
Sir Basil Dawson?
Yes?
There's no question of your identity.
Ask Mr. Chan.
Charlie?
Unfortunately, Inspector, I am unable to disprove the identity of Sir Basil.
Good. Sir Basil Dawson, I arrest you for the willful murder of your wife, Lady Monica Dawson.
Murder? You mean he murdered his wife? It's a mistake!
Your mistake, mister, or rather, your mistake, Sir Basil, was in donating interesting mummy to museum. Very ingenious idea to embalm body of murder victim in ancient mummy, but not to donate same to very respectable institution.
You'll never get away with this! You'll never get away with it! One thing that will hang you is my wife!
I would like you to accept this as a slight token of gratitude from the estate.
Most grateful for undeserved gift.
Tell me, Mr. Chan, when did you first suspect Sir Basil?
Since Book of the Dead is dedicated to Osiris, god of the underworld, I was most puzzled when impostor claimed Papyrus was prayer of Amun-Ra, sun god of life.
Ah, that's very interesting. Well, if you'll excuse me, I must be off.
Of course. Again, most humble thanks, Mr. Dawson.
I don't want to be stuffy, Mr. Chan, but it's now Sir Richard Dawson. Good day.
Gee, Pop, what a switch, huh?
Excellent recipe just discovered. One pinch of aristocracy added to small mind makes fat head.